Right. I don't know if anyone could hear that, but I was putting on some music and having a little jam session. It's a great way to spend your break, jamming. No, but in all seriousness, in absolute seriousness, um, it is good to get up and walk around and get your blood flowing. Um, Also, something I forgot is we were supposed to fill out this review right at the end of the cycle, but I'm going to do it now so everyone can watch. So, did we complete the target? Yes. Anything noteworthy? The target was way too easy. So we went above and beyond and got stuck. Any distractions? Not really. I felt like that was pretty focused. I think we were pretty good there. Nothing really to address there. Things to improve. I don't know. I think overall, I think that was pretty good. Obviously, we need to rethink our approach to this problem. But other than that, let's just write that. So rethink approach. And anyways, okay. So 120. Cycle number dose. What am I trying to accomplish? So let's see. So where did we leave off? We left off with something that looked like it worked, and then it didn't so much. And I don't really know why. And we could try to dig into the intricacies of how ranges and selectors work. And I have worked with these before, so I'm vaguely familiar with this, but I'm quite rusty. And I feel like we're just going to keep running into problems with this. I don't know. So the question is, do we spend a whole other cycle trying to figure out what is going on with this, or do we go in another direction? Man. Let's spend one cycle trying to figure it out. So try to get button to move cursor with text that I entered, not text that was already in there. How will I get started? That's a great question. How can we figure out what is going on here? I don't know. Maybe, here's a brilliant idea. Look at the documentation for JavaScript range and selectors and get a little learned. Okay, any hazards present? This could be a complete disaster and just get us further into the dead end that is this rabbit hole. Or maybe not. Let's not be too pessimistic, but that's kind of how I'm feeling. But we got a little bit of time. This is a learning experience. Energy, I'm still feeling good. I'm still a little questionable. I would have liked to have been a little farther, even though we made our first cycle objective. But all right, so that's it. So now we dive into the next cycle number dose. And if I could get my technical issues resolved, I would actually put on some sweet tunage as we worked on this. But that's not working at the moment. But I do highly recommend it. All right, so let's see. So what do we say? We say we're going to dive into the documentation. Okay, so what exactly are we running into as the issue? The problem is let's just see the error again. Failed to execute set start on range. There is no child at offset 5. So it's creating this range object, and then it's calling set start on it, and it's providing a child, and then it's providing an offset. So let's just look at that. Let's just look. JavaScript range. I don't even know. Range. Okay, that sounds right. I think this is what we're talking about. So range, create range, I believe, is what we called. Yes. Okay. And what are we calling? Set start. Set start. Set the start position of a range. Okay, this sets the start position of a range. Start node is a node of type text, comment, or see data section, then start off as a number of characters from the start node. Now, I don't think, wait, what's the rest of that say? For other nodes, type start offset is the number of child nodes. Wait, between the start, wait, what does this mean? Is the number of child nodes between the start of the start node? Between, is the number of child nodes, what does that mean? Is that, should that be after the start? I think it's just an index of child nodes. Well, we'll find out. Setting the start point. I don't know who's writing the documentation over here. Mozilla. Need to get this reviewed. Anyways, setting the start point below, lower in the document, setting the start point below the endpoint will result in a collapsed range with the start and endpoints both set to the specified start position. Okay. All right. First, I want to find out what the type is because yeah, that's what I want to do. So let's just try this again. Let's recreate our conditions. Okay, so node list. Fascinating. Wait, oh, that's so interesting. Huh. Because, okay, wait. Because I've thought that, let's see. Yeah, see, originally it's actually text. I don't know if I put this in the div. I hope people are enjoying watching me struggle through the weeds. All right, let's see what happens here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so now it's a div, and now I'm curious. Now I'm really curious. That should be what that line in that movie. Now I'm curious. Forget that I said that. Okay, let's see. Now, okay, so now they're all divs. Actually, that's not what I wanted to test. I wanted to see if they still come up as spans. I'm just poking around here. Okay, so that's really interesting. And then does this have a, yeah, that's so funny. Okay. So I'm just building a whole little HTML web page inside of this one little editable thing. I don't think this is a good idea. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, someone's saying hello. Can I ask something? Yes, please, Frank Bourne. Please ask away. Because I need a distraction. Okay, he says, I am going to go to school and learn programming. Yes. I like the premise of your question. starting with Python. Cool. Is JavaScript the next best thing to do? My short answer is yes. Or HTML, he says. So both. If you want to do anything with web development, you're going to want HTML and JavaScript. And Python is good for backend stuff. That's the mainstream answer. That's like what everyone's doing. That's where the industry is going. He says, I get my first year CSS, Java, Python, and HTML. That sounds like a great start. Java and Python are good kind of back-end things. So you could make Android apps with Java. And then CSS and HTML are good ways to get started with web development. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, definitely JavaScript is going to be the next step. JavaScript is what's going to make your web pages super juicy. Because with just HTML and CSS, you can't really do a whole lot of interactive stuff. You can make it look nice, and you can. I want to make a bomber game, he says. Bomberman game. Oh, perfect. I love Bomberman. Yeah, if you want to make that on a web page, you're definitely going to want JavaScript. You're not going to be able to do that with just HTML and CSS, because those are more just for kind of how it looks. That's not for the actual functionality of like what happens when you push up or down, or how does a character move. If you wanted to do it not as a web page, then maybe you could do it in Java, but I think that's a little old-fashioned. So I would say, yeah, JavaScript would definitely be a good way for you to move forward. Yeah, that's my expert opinion on the subject. Not really, but I have been doing this for a few years, so I hope that helps. Okay. So how long you programming? Well, okay, that's a great question. So my dad was a programmer. He was doing it before I was born, and I pretty much did it as soon as I could. So, and I'm 32 now, so I've been doing it for a while. I haven't been getting paid to do it that whole time. I would say like as a professional full-time programmer, probably like 7 years, maybe, roughly. Oh, you're 27. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've been doing it my whole life for fun, but professionally probably about 7 years. He says he did network engineering. Cool. Well, that means you already have a good technical mind for problem solving. um, yeah. He says programming is way more fun. Yeah, I agree. I like, you know, some people are hardware people, some people are software people, but I like software. I like programming. I think you're just in a world of limitless possibilities, with hardware it's kind of you're much more bound to what physical parts you have in front of you. With programming, it's your imagination is the limit basically. Um yeah. Um um Imagination equals fun, Frank Bourne says, and I agree. Certainly does. Yeah. So back to this problem. I don't know where to begin. Because this is funky. And this is exactly what I was talking about using this content editable div is like, it's like a little magic black box. And now we're trying to open it up and we're just seeing all of the gears. All of the gears, the pretty little gears. Oh, Frank Bourne says he's doing a Udemy course, Python boot camp. Cool. Yeah, those things are great. I'm sure you can learn a lot doing that stuff. And definitely make sure you're talking to other people who are in the course and working with them. It's one of the best ways to learn is working with other people. Oh, 24-hour course. Okay. A little crash course. All right. I'm going to set a timer because it's too hard to do the math. 2 p.m. is when the next one starts. So 1:50. Oh, man, only 14 minutes. Okay. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm backing out. I don't like this. I don't like the cycle. I don't like the objective. I don't like this content editable thing. Let's back out. Let's take this in a completely different direction. Let me think. Okay, let's design this thing from scratch, so to speak. Let's not, this content editable div, this got us like 90% of the way there, but the other 10% is going to be a total slog, I think, because that's not what they had in mind. They didn't have in mind like a Vim editor. So I think we're going to need to kind of break it down and actually build that 90% of functionality ourselves a little bit. So let's actually let's use regular divs and let's do this. So please enter some text. Let's kind of restart here a little bit. Let's get rid of this button. And given that I only have 14 minutes left, let's see. There's a much better way to do this, but okay. I'm totally forgetting how to do this. I think we want this dot state. No, that's not right, is it? Oh my lord, I have forgotten how to initialize state in React. Yeah, it is this dot state. Okay, this dot state. We're going to start tracking this stuff. So we're going to like totally break this down. So selected line number, that'll be 0. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have this, and we're going to say border is going to be green. Wait, how do you do? Okay, here. Selected. Oh, you know what? Okay, hang on. Lines. So we're going to actually store each line as an element in an array. We're not going to let the content editable div do it for us. It was awesome in the beginning, but we had to strike out on our own, like a son leaving his father, and be like, no, you got to let us figure it out. That's the story I'm telling here. So we're going to store lines in an array, and then we're going to map through the array. And for each line, we're going to make a div. And we're going to want to know the line number. And we're going to say if the line number equals the selected line number, we'll have the border be green, else it's going to be black. And then this will actually be the line itself. There we go. Got something missing. Oh, there we go. And let's actually initialize this. So the first line will be, this is the first line. That's so original. Let's see what happens. I forgot. And there we go. This is the first line. Okay. If you missed my intro to this live cast, or live stream, I was talking about the twisted web of JavaScript and HTML that we were creating here in this React app. And now we're really starting to see it. Oh, by the way, Frank Bourne asks, what are you making? Although I think he left, but if he's still here, I'm making a text editor, essentially. Essentially, I'm making this, once again, oh, he's still here, cool. I'm making a text editor. So, you know, if you look at like a basic text editor, right, I'm trying to make something like this in a web page, and then I'm going to add some cool new features to it. So that's kind of what I'm going to do, but I'm only giving myself like 3.5 hours to do it. So we got to kind of like pace ourselves to make sure we produce some kind of finished product at the end of it. More of a learning experience than for any other reason, really. This is not something that will be useful. But yeah, so anyway, so in React we get this weird, so we have a JavaScript function called render, which is returning an HTML div, which is calling JavaScript here, which is returning an HTML div, which is calling JavaScript. So this is what I was talking about a little bit, where React gets into this, you know, it's kind of funky, but it's also kind of cool. Frank Bourne says, you're learning with time. That's right, as we all are. Thank you for your supportive attitude. Okay, so now my one question is, why isn't this, this should be the selected line because it's the first line, so why isn't it green? Maybe it needs to be 1px solid. There we go. Okay, cool. How much time do we have left in this cycle, by the way? 7 minutes. Okay, we're good. So now we need a way. This is actually also really messy the way I'm writing this, but I'm just doing this for the sake of speed. We could clean this up a bit and make it easier to understand. But anyways, so now we need a way to add the next line. Because yeah, the content editable div, I know you're saying, oh, it's so easy. We just pushed enter. All of the functionality was there for us. We can't go back. We've gone too far in this direction. So so now we need to add that functionality ourselves. So we need to make it so that if you push a button, it creates a new line. So and in Vim, the button, you actually push the letter O to create a new line. So somehow I need to, okay, let's see. How do you React capture key press, maybe. How to detect. Also, in case you're wondering, Frank Bourne or anyone else, this is basically what a programmer does. You're basically just Googling things all day and looking at other people's solutions to problems that are similar to yours. And then sometimes you're just straight up copying their code, which is what I'm going to do now. Because that's just smart. And I'm going to make a function called make new line. And I'm going to call that, I don't want this escape function, I want make new line. Why isn't this auto-completing? There we go. And then what this will do is I'm going to set the state of lines to be, how do you do this in JavaScript? How do you add, let me open up a little JavaScript console. So if I have an array and I want to add a second item, can I just do this? No. Yeah. I've totally forgotten how to do this. I actually write a lot in Python also, Frank, so my brain, it's like speaking two different languages. Sometimes my brain tries to write Python in JavaScript. How do you do this? How do you? Okay, we need to call this concatenation thing. So we'll call lines concat and then an empty line. So we're just going to add ourselves an empty line. And not key down, we want to add key, let's see. Oh, key code. Okay, so we need to know the key code for letter O. What is the key code? Tell me your secrets. Let's see. Key O. Which column is the code? This is the code. Wait, why are there two? Oh, okay. This is wrapping. Okay, so this is the code. 79. Okay, so go back to that example. So we need to check if the key code is 79, because that means, I'm just going to add a little comment here. That means it's the letter, the leader. Oh, cool. We also need an event, the event. And I think that should do it. Let's see. How much time do we have on this timer? 3 minutes. Let's see if we can get this thing to work in 3 minutes. So lines is not defined, right? Because it's the state. It's lines within state. All right. I'm pushing the letter O. Curses. Oh, you know what? I think this needs, I wrote this wrong. Make it like that. Pushing letter O. Okay, wait. I think it actually worked, but there was nothing in the line. Here, let's, we only have 3 minutes. Let's just, another line. Oh. 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 Oh, yeah. We have 2 minutes. Okay, and if we really wanted to cheat here, we could just call back to the editable div. And now we can write in them. All right. Boom, text editor completed. We're not actually going to do that, but not a bad way to wrap up a cycle, because we kind of finished what we were trying to do right at the end of our timer. So that's cool, because that's how you want it to be. Although I did backtrack because I gave up on our actual objective for the cycle, because I was just going down I was going in a bad direction. But yeah. But this is good, because the new objective that I set was ambitious enough to use up all of our time, but not too hard that couldn't accomplish it. So now we can add lines. So that's pretty fantastic. I don't like that they're centered. I want them all to be left aligned, but I think the reason is that, yeah, that guy. That's the culprit. deal with that later. We got 24 seconds. I'm just going to use this remaining time to do a review. So our cycle number 2 review, completed cycles target. Well, do half, say half, because we didn't complete this target, but we set a new target pretty early on and we completed that, so sort of completed. By the way, if you haven't noticed, there's these cool little visualizations here. Oh, my timer's going off. There we go. There's cool little visualizations here that show you. So if I had been like, oh, I'm getting tired this time, then it would have been like, oh, your tired's going now. Anyways, let's continue with the review real quick. Anything noteworthy? Changed course, but it worked out for the best. Any distractions? Frank, you were a distraction. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I actually really appreciate you being here and interacting, and I'm glad to have had the opportunity to help you out. And I hope I helped. But I'm leaving you on here. I will memorialize your distraction for all time. Here, I'll add a smiley face. Things to improve for next cycle. So these last 2 cycles, we keep kind of missing the mark with our initial objective. So next cycle, let's really get a decent starting objective, so that we're not kind of reorienting right in the middle of the cycle. I mean, that's okay, and it worked out for the best. We're still making progress, obviously, but yeah, ideally it would be going a little bit more smoothly than this. So that's what it's going to be, and I'm going to take a break. I will be back at dose o'clock. I will see you then.